Hi CVIS fourth graders. I just wanted to follow up with you about the tulips that we planted this week. The tulips that you planted are part of a citizen science project that is designed to track the arrival of spring. Citizen science projects are science experiments that are designed by professional scientists and are intended for the general public to complete. Science experiments that are repeated many times provide lots of data. The more data that scientists can collect, the better the conclusions that can be drawn from the experiment. Repeating an experiment many times can be expensive and time-consuming. Professional scientists might not have the time or money to repeat the experiment over and over again. So they write up a simple procedure that can be repeated by students and other volunteers. This is called citizen science. We can check out the Journey North website and see that they have several citizen science projects that are designed to track migration and seasons. If we scroll down here, we can see some of the different projects that the Journey North program is running that are all citizen science projects. You participated in the Tulip Test Gardens. Let's check out the map on the Journey North Tulip Test Garden website to see where other citizen scientists have planted tulip bulbs. These citizen scientists planted the same kind of tulip bulbs as you did, the red emperor tulip. The tulip bulbs were all planted in the same way and after the soil temperature cooled to less than 60 degrees Fahrenheit. If we take a look at the map here, we can see the United States, and each of these brown dots represents a location where tulips were planted. Your school will also be represented by a brown dot to log the location and the number of tulip bulbs that were planted, as well as the date that they were planted. If we click on one of the brown dots, we can see what the town is named where the tulips were planted, and maybe a little information about the weather or the conditions on the day that they planted their tulips. Now you'll want to keep an eye on your tulip test garden, especially in the spring. You want to watch for when the tulips begin to emerge. When the tulips emerge, you will see little red portions of the leaves starting to poke up through the soil. So this is what you'll be looking for in the spring. And once you see the tulips start to emerge, you'll want to be sure to log the date on the Journey North website. Keep watching those tulip test gardens to see when the tulips begin to bloom. These are red emperor tulips in bloom. You'll want to also log the date on the Journey North website when the tulips begin to bloom. Since all of the citizen scientists participating in this project planted the same kind of tulip bulbs in the same way, we can compare the results from one tulip garden to the next. Professional scientists will analyze the dates that the tulips started to emerge and bloom. They will compare the emerge and bloom dates to past years to see if the tulips are starting to grow earlier, later, or at about the same time as in the past. Scientists are using the tulip test gardens as a way to track the arrival of spring, since the tulips won't start growing until the air and soil temperatures warm up. Let's take a look at the map. And where do you think on this map the tulips will begin to emerge first? What state, what part of the United States do you think the tulips will start to grow first in the spring? And why? What locations in the United States do you think the tulips will emerge after yours, and why? Thanks for your time in planting the tulip test gardens, and be sure to keep an eye on your garden for those tulips to start growing in the spring.